Hi guys, I'm Asher. Today's video will be about a scene in which Ryuu and Belle go on a date, even though they don't want to admit it. This special story was written in commemoration of the 5th anniversary of DanMachi's game, Dan Memo. By the way, as a precaution, I have created a secondary channel, so please subscribe to that channel as well. Also, if you like my videos and want to help the channel, you can do it on Patreon or by becoming a member here on YouTube. The links will be in the description. But well, without anything else to say, let's get started. Mr. Cranel? It was a sunny and pleasant afternoon. The elf went out to buy some ingredients for the tavern and came across Belle right around a corner. "Oh, Miss Ryuu." While Belle responded immediately, it was as if the words, "This is bad," were written on his face in capital letters. The young man wasn't wearing any of his usual adventurer's equipment, just ordinary casual clothes. Meanwhile, he was holding something in his hands. That something would be a pile of books. These books. What are you doing with them? No, that. He was walking around with a pile of books, so she just asked him about it, but all she got in return was an empty smile. Belle was red-faced and sweating profusely. As he protected the books and slowly retreated, Ryuu immediately narrowed her sky-blue eyes. He had a guilty conscience. Was the little yellow book in his hands actually a really shameful book? If it's like that, Ryuu just couldn't give up. In order to investigate the young man, but also to show off the unique cleanliness of an elf, she quickly approached him with lightning speed. The speed of her attack was definitely that of a second-class adventurer. She took a book away from Belle's chest as he was still shocked by her quick movement. Huh? This is a fairy tale? No, a hero story? Despite Belle's strange scream, she still opened the book right away and was greeted by an illustration. There was a brave female elf aiming at a giant monster and releasing a cold blow of snow magic. No, this one. When I was sorting out the basement of the library, I found a few books I read as a child. So, I started reading them and became fascinated. Then, since I wasn't going to the dungeon today, I thought this was a rare opportunity, so why not go to the bookstore and collect some? Belle started arguing in panic, but as a result, he started stuttering and finally his voice disappeared completely. It seems like Belle doesn't want others to know that he's still collecting hero stories at his age. At that point, Ryuu saw him shyly lowering his head as his face was completely red from all the blushing. Ryuu was surprised by this incident, but she immediately started to smile. She didn't think there was anything shameful about it. It would be better to say that it was just his style. At the same time though, she felt guilty about having suspected Belle of hiding something bad. "So, didn't you get a bag to carry the books?" I actually brought one, but the bottom was ripped open." Ryuu returned the book to Belle and asked, as he responded with a shy smile. After listening to the boy, she immediately volunteered. "Okay. I'll accompany you." Well, you're carrying too many books, I'll help you." Although Belle's behavior was really suspicious, she couldn't forgive herself for suspecting him. In short, the elf with the serious nature wanted to atone for it. Hearing her proposal, the boy clearly felt bad for her. "Oh no, I don't want to trouble you, and Miss Ryuu is still on duty as well." "You don't need to worry about that, as long we're done before nightfall," she said. In order to convince Belle, she immediately used the lines he had long wanted to hear. "This journey will definitely become a difficult one. After all, if you wish to pursue the legend of the heroic Albert, you must travel through this vast labyrinth city." The embarrassing yet persuasive lines were like the legends from the ancient books where the heroes embarked on their adventures. Although Belle was still a bit shy, he couldn't help blinking his eyes and smiling with delight after seeing Ryuu's valiant look. It was as if his big sister was telling him a story about heroes. "So, please, give me a lot of advice, and be my companion on this difficult journey. Yes, I will accompany you. As Ryuu was amused by the boy's smile, the female elf and the human boy began searching for more books about heroes. First they went and bought 2 sturdy bags to pack the books in, and then began their treasure hunt, in the eastern part of the city. The hero stories Belle was looking for were almost all unofficial, making it impossible to buy them all in one place. They visited bookstores run by elves, outdoor vendors with small stalls full of merchandise, and even the flea market. Sometimes the two would tiptoe through dimly lit stores to get to the bookstore, sometimes they would duck into the flea market to look at a book cover. Every time they found one of the books Belle wanted, he'd let out a cheer. With 2 people, it was a lot easier for Belle to search for his books than it was on his own. Miss Ryuu, Miss Ryuu. While Ryuu and Belle were shopping, someone greeted her. The other party was a regular customer and a supplier of ingredients for the hostess of fertility, the tavern where Ryuu works. She gave Belle a gesture and they walked towards the woman who was waving at them. So, I see you finally found yourself a good man. Don't take me for a fool. The 2 of you are on a date, right? It took Ryuu a while to realize what the loud lady had just said. Ryuu always took the initiative as a child, so I always hoped that a beautiful girl like you would quickly find a good man. After all, you never had time for men, so I've worried about you for a long time. Now I can finally rest easy. The lady looked back and forth between Belle and Ryuu, who were waiting for the conversation to end. The 2 of them were carrying the same kind of bags. Plus, they've been laughing and chatting all the time while leisurely strolling around various bookstores. So, in the eyes of others, this might have looked like they were on a date. And look at that, isn't that the little rookie who won the war game? You've gotten a good. This isn't a date. This is not a date. Miss Ryuu. This is not a date. Besides, you can never tell Seer about this. Oh, fine, fine. Belle made sure to firmly say the important part 3 times. Faced with such a serious-looking Ryuu, the ingredient supplier lady nodded her head. This isn't a date, I didn't think so. There is no doubt about this. But certainly, this would be too much for Seer to handle. It seems like Mr. Cornell thought the same. No, this was just casual. This was all just because I was suspicious of him, but to abandon him for my own convenience would be too shameless, thought Ryuu. Looking back and forth between Belle and the lady, the elf's heart was extremely tangled. Her feelings, extremely agitated, were torn between her devotion to Seer and her apology to the boy. It seems like that person is your acquaintance. Miss Ryuu, what's wrong? Oh, it's nothing, let's go. Returning to Belle's side, she finally decided to continue searching for books with him. At the same time, in a corner of her heart, she apologized to her colleague. I've collected so many. Thank you so much, Miss Ryuu. I'm glad I could help you, she said. When they finished shopping, they sat down on a bench on the east side of the central plaza. The bags placed at their feet were bulging. Belle was very pleased after finding such a large number of his target books. Seeing his expression, hers softened as well. Miss Ryuu, did you also read hero stories when you were a child? No, my family were guardians. Our family had been guarding the secret location of the elves for generations, so I missed out on such things. Even after coming to the city. If you can you tell me about them? When the fountain in front of them reflected the sunlight, and Belle heard what she had just said, his expression brightened even more. He looked like an excited rabbit. Yes, I understand, leave it to me. Dungeon oratoria, should be obvious to everyone. Maybe, St. George's legend, but it's too unpopular. It was a little surprising to see Belle like this, who had pulled a book out of the bag in front of him. But it also created a fresh feeling. Belle also had that side to him. He was very enthusiastic when he talked about subjects that were familiar to him. But, my grandfather said he liked the story of the Argonaut the most. He knew a lot of stories Ryuu never heard of, so he told her one story after another. Whenever he talked about the hero stories, his red eyes shimmered. Just like gems, pure crimson gems. As she listened to the stories, she was deeply attracted by his radiance. She felt like her mind was at peace. At the same time, she felt a sweet anxiety in her heart. A blooming smile unconsciously appeared on her face. I like how you tell these stories. She breathed out a whisper. This whisper also managed to reach the ears of the young man, who remained silent. Huh? Belle froze, his face turning red in the blink of an eye. It was only then that she realized the situation was wrong, while she felt her face was getting a little hot. No, just now, please don't misunderstand. It was probably because of that smile, or, like an innocent child, it was probably this kind of feeling. Oh. Child. Innocent child. She hurriedly corrected herself as Belle suddenly felt dejected. Seeing the boy so depressed, Ryuu was somewhat at a loss. Even if she tried to correct herself again, it would only cause more embarrassment. She could no longer speak freely. As the heat on her face has not yet disappeared, her heart was also still beating fast. At that moment she could only keep her small lips together. This is not a lie. The next moment, Ryuu lowered her eyes and faced her own feelings. I like the beautiful eyes that illuminate hope, just like so many of those stories. After finally acknowledging what she was really thinking, she raised her head. Mr. Cranial. What I just said is not a lie. Sitting on the bench, she looked straight ahead to avoid making eye contact. So, please, keep telling me these stories. I want to keep looking at your charming eyes. She conveyed to the boy her heart's most anxious desire. She gently took the book from the boy's hands and put it in her lap, only to see that the cover was wrinkled. Okay, he said. The innocent voice of the young man fiddled with the slender elf's ears. Ryuu caressed the cover of the book and closed her eyes with a quiet smile. And well, that was all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up, share the video and leave your opinion in the comments. I will be reading your opinions. Also join Discord, there we can talk about DanMachi and even other animes. The link is in the video description. Best regards and see you next time.